Hey, this is Monday, February 27th. Information up there. Let's see, we're going to do short story Istep practice here in just a moment. Short story speech is due Thursday. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Early book report is going to be due Friday of this week, or is officially due Wednesday of next week. Do you know your Istep room for tomorrow? Because you're going to go there first thing. We do have the no best schedule today, just so you are aware. And then tomorrow you're going to have just a completely screwy schedule. And then tonight is the wrestling meet for House of Points. Let's see. Wrong button. See, it worked just a moment ago. I wonder if it doesn't work from a distance. So I was over there. It worked just fine. There we go. Just a distance thing. It's just a hater. Once again, for the speech coming up, there are directions. It is on the short story page. You don't have to download them now, because in theory, you've already downloaded them. You should have these. But I'm figuring I'm throwing it up there again so that when we go through it in a moment, you can remember that we did have the story directions for you. It's just the homework files, short story, at the very top of the page. There's 3 files there. One of them says directions. Shoo. Shoo. Mm-hmm. Did you just put your hand in front of it? Once again, with the directions to help you out in case you've not looked at them and you have no idea what you're doing. Focus. What it is going to be is you're going to have to find a short story that we have not done in class. And I sent out links yesterday via Remind. I'll send out links again probably today or tomorrow via Remind. And so you can go on there, and I'll try to even put them onto my webpage, that you can go to those links, find your own story. You probably don't want to do a super long story, but one that you can just go through and read. And then you're going to have to know the introduction, character, setting, plot, point of view, theme, internal, external, and you're going to come up with a conclusion about all that stuff. Your speech is going to be between 1 minute and 1.5 minutes. Can't do the ands, ums, and likes. It's going to be for an actual grade. It's like a 30-point grade. And so that's what we're looking for from you. You're not just retelling the whole story. You're telling us information about that story. So you're going to have to actually read it and then understand it. Questions from any of that? Yay! Then, I'll hold it awkwardly over your head. Over your head. Hey, you have the perfect head. All right. Now is where the part we're going to get into the Istep practice. So this will be what we're going to jump to. What we're going to begin with is we're going to be friendly to all the kids who are watching it today. For those of you who are watching the home version, we are using this as a guide for the Globetrotters because their teacher's not here today. So and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then we're all going to say, good luck on Istep Globetrotters. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Good luck on Istep Globetrotters.
See, heroes and Globetrotters can get along.
Nope.
It's just because they don't know how much better we are than them anyway. So with the Istep practice, you now have your little Istep practice book. You're going to turn it until you get to the part that says section 2. I mean, the first part is mathematics, but you're going to be doing that in math class. And then it's on page number 7 or 17.
But section 2 is 13. It's 13.
But turn to page 7.
It's also...
We're not on that one yet, you silly child.
But you said section 2.
I don't
Yeah,
need
you said section
you
2.
and your truth.
Yeah, you said section 2.
Globetrotters, this is why heroes also have issues and we are not that much better than you.
What? What?
Page 7.
No, you just said section 2.
Yeah, you did.
You said section 2.
Don't go off what I
Go back to
said,
it.
go off what I meant. Section 1,
How can we know
page 7, we're going to take a look at this part. Alright, there's a little thing, I'm going to go through and read it for you. It's called The Rise of the Robot Worker, and then we're going to take a look at the little questions at the end, and we're going to work through how to figure them out. But the only way to work through how to figure them out is if we actually know what it's talking about. So it says, The Rise of the Robot Worker. Science fiction books and movies often envision a future where robots come to dominate humankind. While this nightmare scenario still exists only on the fiction bookshelves and in movies, robots have become an increasingly important part of the modern workforce. In 1961, automobile manufacturer General Motors welcomed a now famous employee to its assembly line, Unimate, the first industrial robot. Consisting of a 4,000-pound mechanical arm, Unimate was far different from the humanoid robots brought to artificial life in the pages of science fiction stories. Paragraph 2. More than 50 years after Unimate made its debut, robots are still hard at work in the industrial sector. The automobile industry alone uses more than half the number of robots at work today. These robots perform a wide range of jobs. Under the supervision of their human companions, they assemble, weld, and paint cars. Robots assist in other industries as well. They are employed by the computer industry in the manufacture of computer chips, and circuit boards. On the sweeter side of things, chocolate factories are also populated by Unimate's descendants, mechanical arms that sort and arrange tasty treats neatly in individual boxes. Pause for a moment. Do you guys know what the word descendants means? What is our guess what does descendants mean? Because it connects to descend. You're in the right track, but not quite going.
When someone dies, that's their, it's... I can't think of the right word.
You're on the right track. Rachel?
It's children.
Is correct. It comes from the word descend because you have big people and then you go down to the little people. So your descendants are your children and down from there. Hopefully things you don't have yet. But hopefully you are a descendant because they're the bigger people that exist around you. So that same idea. So that's what descendants means. Chapter 3. Paragraph 3. It's been a long morning. Except now it's in the afternoon for some kids. Robot workers have been fairly standard in factories for decades now. More recently, however, they are being programmed to perform less industrial functions. Researchers at Cornell University, for example, have developed a robot that can make coffee beverages. The robot barista's ability to make a latte is hardly its most impressive feature. It can also teach itself how to use an espresso maker that it has never worked with before. Perhaps someday, Cornell's barista robot can work in the automated kitchen developed by Moly Robotics. The kitchen features a pair of robotic hands that the company says can perform the same functions as a human chef's. Paragraph 4. Robots are appearing in an increasing variety of jobs. They act as pharmacists, filling prescriptions. They analyze legal documents for law firms. They even write news stories. According to a study done by the Boston Consulting Group, the number of industrial robots will increase by 10% each year through at least 2025. Paragraph 5. This increased reliance on automated employees raises a question. What is so great about robots? To begin with, robots are faster than humans. They move at a constant, relentless pace. Unlike people, they do not need to stop to eat, use the restroom, scratch their nose, or even sleep. Robots also produce higher quality products with greater consistency because they are trained to perform the exact same motions over and over again. They do not make errors caused by boredom or distraction. Robots cannot be injured, so they are able to safely perform jobs that may be hazardous for humans. Over time, they may cost less to employ than people. Paragraph 6. Given this long list of advantages, why haven't robots replaced more people in the workforce? In many cases, the answer is that they cannot. Robots simply are not capable of doing some jobs. At least, not yet. Jobs in the creative arts and jobs that rely upon human judgment or emotion require human workers. A robot ballet probably wouldn't be very popular, and no robot will be sent to argue a case before the Supreme Court anytime soon. Interestingly, safety is both an advantage and a disadvantage to robot employees. Robots can actually be dangerous in the workplace because they are oblivious to all but their assigned tasks and may injure people working nearby. Finally, while robots may cost less over time, many businesses cannot afford to purchase them because the initial cost is so high. The field of robotics is swiftly growing, however. Many companies are finding new ways to address the challenges that robot workers pose. New technology makes robots less expensive to produce every year. For example, a welding robot that cost $182,000 in 2005 now sells for $133,000. By 2025, the same robot is projected to cost only $103,000. One company has created a robot called Baxter that can sense the presence of humans and react politely. Baxter even comes equipped with a cartoon face, which may make its presence more acceptable to human workers. To business owners, the most exciting thing about Baxter may be its price tag, $22,000. And paragraph 8, whether robots should continue to replace more humans in the workforce is a hotly debated topic. The fact that they will continue to do so, however, seems more certain with every passing year. By the way, what type of story was that?
It was sci-fi.
Non-fiction.
Non-fiction was what I was going for. Between the fiction, this was our non-fiction article. Then we get to question 1, which says, if my computer will fight me. Seriously. This kid's head. This kid's head. Why? Pick a head. Zadie, you have a magic head. Good job. So, English section 1. First question. We're going to read the question, reword it so that it makes sense. That first question says, how are robot manufacturers making robots more compatible with the needs of humans in the workplace? Support your answer with details from the article. What is that question asking? The reason we're doing the practice, by the way, just to help you out, is when you come to the test tomorrow, it's not going to have the same story or the same questions. I just want to train you how to do it. So one of the first things you want to do is reword the question so it makes sense to you. So how can we reword this one so that it makes sense as opposed to its blankly wording that it has going on there? Morgan?
Robot manufacturers make it more compatible in human workplaces.
And they're the same thing. What does more compatible mean?
Easier.
Keep going.
Yeah.
So we have any, so
You just
easier?
reworded, like, you just changed the words.
I want to know, what is the question asking? Let's back up. If you guys had this on the test tomorrow, what is this question asking you to say? Do you have any idea, or did you just give up and begin crying on the spot? Jacob?
Can I answer both questions?
Sure.
That you try your best to answer the question. You do not cry.
I
And
agree with that part. Good job not crying.
my answer, and it's trying to say, it's like robots will make life easier for us. It's not and visible for us because sometimes robots not let us replace us with
Nicely
jobs.
done. So the idea of what you're getting to, how are robot manufacturers making robots so they can help humans in the workplace? So basically they're just trying to say, how is it robots are helping us? That's what they want you to be able to tell us. Support your answer with details from the article. The things to pick up on there. 1, how much space do you guys have on this one to answer?
Not much.
So what kind of answer are they looking for?
Short.
Nice. Wait. How long is short when you say short?
6 months.
About a paragraph.
Yeah, better.
And how long is a paragraph?
5 sentences.
Nicely. I wouldn't even say that long. I'd probably say maybe even a little bit shorter than that. So part of what you need to be able to do is figure out how much room they're giving you and use that as a judgment call. So on this one, if you were just to write 1 sentence, yeah, that's going to end up working against you. I would say for this one, say support your answer with detail. Let's go down to my next hint for you, and then I'm going to see what ideas you guys have. Special head. My head? No, doesn't like
No,
mine.
try mine.
Seriously,
Try mine.
It worked a moment ago.
My head's not
Do my head.
Do my
I mean,
head.
it's
There
the
it is.
red head of that.
What is important in this question? Well, 1, we figured out what it says. When you guys look at that question in front of you, what is the important stuff you're supposed to take from it? Floral.
How are they helpful?
How are they helpful? Nicely done. So that's part of it that once you get into is, how is it, so what do they want you to do when they say, how are they helpful?
Give details.
Nicely done. What does that mean?
Explain it further than just a couple sentences. Like you have to go into deep details to fully give it the big picture.
So as an
of the
example,
article.
what would be let's back up. How are robots helpful? Can you give me, expect this to work from here? No. Thankful?
Because they're make it easier on us because we don't have to always be constantly moving and doing kinds of things, so they can do stuff for us.
Is that from the story? See, and that's not bad. And that's part of what we're looking for is what Thankful did was a very well thought out answer. The problem is, will it get you points? And that's what is working against you. Is even they're like, but I know that's the right answer. I'm proud of you. Istep cares not. Istep is evil. except in the flesh you're listening. Istep is wonderful. We all love you, Istep.
No.
But Istep is awful. So you have to make sure you give the stuff straight from the article. Abby?
Humans might be distracted with some things, but robots can just keep on working without making mistakes, and they can go to like deep places where.
Is that from the article?
Yeah.
Where?
It was on paragraph.
5?
Yeah.
Nicely done. If you can go back and point to the paragraph, I will take that. Nicely done. Lucas?
I was going to say that they're faster.
How so?
They're faster than humans, and they move at a relentless pace.
Nicely done. What paragraph did you get that from?
5.
Nicely done. You guys are right. Paragraph 5. Floral?
Robots can do jobs that may be dangerous for humans.
Nice. And what paragraph did that come from?
5.
Once again, go paragraph 5. Thankful. You actually going to use the story this time?
They produce high quality products and with greater consistency because they're trained to perform the exact. Wait, hold on. They're trained to perform the exact same motions over and over again.
And what paragraph did you get that from?
5.
Go paragraph 5. Ian?
Well, one of them is that they could be dangerous around other workers.
Ah. And what paragraph did that come from?
6.
Nicely done.
And
That's-
it's not supporting.
Yeah, that's not helpful.
Ooh.
That's kind of a negative, not a positive.
So should we not use that one then?
No.
You are correct. But that's going to come into the next question we're going to get in a moment. So that will come in useful, just not for this one. Which is one of the tricks you have to make sure you look for. Ooh, by the way, how many examples should you give?
Probably 3.
Why 3?
Because you need an introduction, three examples, and then you need to you kind of need to like show how you got that and like the details of it, and then you need to do like a closing, almost like conclusion, like a short conclusion.
Once
in
again,
a
how much
sentence.
room do we have here?
6 lines.
Yeah, but that's only 5.
So I'm not sure I'd go quite that far, but I would agree probably 2 to 3 solid examples, and you'd probably be okay. What I want you to take away from this practice is a couple things. 1, pay attention to how much room you have. One of the things with Istep is they grade you on how much of the answer blank you fill up. Mr. Brovicast, that's not right. I absolutely agree with you. Here's the drawback. It's the way it works. You will be graded on how well you fill those lines. If you give me a beautiful answer that covers everything and you only fill up 2 of those lines, you will not get as good of a grade as a kid who fills up everything and babbles. It is the way Istep works. So the more you can fill up all those lines and get your information on there, the better off you will be. Just want to make sure you get that. And make sure your stuff connects back to it. That's what I want you to take from it. Now, turn. We're going to take a look at one more. Do not go on until you're told to do so. We are now telling you to do so. The next one is going to be the essay. No, we're not going to sit here and write an essay together. But I do want to show you how to go about setting up the essay. It's the same story all over again. We're not going to read it again. It's the exact same thing. So keep going till you get to page 16. Page 16. All right. On here, I'm going to read the question to you, and I want to sort of run through the setup and get the same idea. It says, in The Rise of the Robot Worker, the author discusses both the advantages and the challenges of using robots in the workplace. Write an essay that explains whether the advantages outweigh the challenges. Use evidence from the article to support your position. Be sure to include an explanation of whether the advantages of using robots outweigh the challenges they present in the workplace, evidence from the article that supports your position, an introduction, a body, and a conclusion for your essay. Use the following pre-writing planning page to help you plan your writing, then write your final draft on the lined pages. Let's see if I can shake it. Huh? I just have to shake it to make it work.
I don't think
Worked
so.
a second ago. Don't you sass me.
It's broken.
I didn't sass.
Not you. I was talking about the computer.
Oh.
You sass me all the time for other reasons. First question. Read it and reword it so that it makes sense to you. So my question is, what is this question asking of you? No. Look strong for a moment, then you back down on me. Morgan?
To reword the question so it makes sense, so it like makes more sense.
What does the question?
Right. So have you reworded that question?
No, the question for the essay.
Oh my god.
Thank you for
Never
translating
mind.
that.
You know what? You just pick on floral.
Floral?
Yeah.
Are the advantages or like do the disadvantages like overwear the advantages?
So, which one do they want you to do? The good things or the bad things?
Both.
Nicely done. So, which one should you list? The good things or the bad things?
Both.
Nicely done again. So that's what I want you to take away from it. Read it. Make sure it's saying, if it said, what are all the good things about computers or about robots, then you just list the good things. This wants you to do both the good things and the bad things. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. There we
It's
go.
not gonna work. Haha. Bad luck. Bad luck upon you.
Yeah, I just throw it at kid.
Not at me.
That'd be the first kid who he throws it at.
There you go.
Where did you get fired?
Should we use robots in the workplace? Use evidence from the article to support your position. So that's what it's going for. Should we use them? Well, let's find out with... Shake it. Ah! So, every time. The problem is the kids at home can't see me shaking this thing like it's an angry baby.
Well, then go in front of them and shake it.
It doesn't actually work.
Yeah, but it looks funny.
I can sit back for you.
I mean, you want them to laugh while they're sick, right? Or if they are sick, I don't know.
Seriously, right?
Yeah, the kids are
Did you get it?
They just get one
He's lucky.
What you get for spending lots of money on a remote control? There we go. What is important in this question? When you take a look at it, how much room for the answer?
a lot.
Crap.
Too much.
So probably about 3 paragraphs, no 4.
So take a look at, first off, how much, by the way, this is what it looked like, me shaking it like this. Shaky,
Yeah,
shaky,
why not?
shaky, shaky. And then nothing would happen. Then shaky, shaky, shaky. And then nothing happening.
See,
So
it was
now,
funny.
how much room do we have for this answer?
4 pages.
A
Well,
lot.
3 and a half.
You are correct.
No,
3 and a
So,
quarter.
what is it I'm going to tell you about this room?
use it all.
You need to use all of that room.
Yeah.
Brovicast, that's so much writing. I agree, which is why they give you an hour to do it, and they don't let you do anything else. Yes, it is a lot of writing. I wish I could tell you just write really good and really well and just do a little bit and you'd be fine. It's not the way it works. The way the Istep graders are, the problem is the people who grade these Isteps, they're not professionals. They're just random people. What they do is they just go in there and I'm sorry, they're not. They're just random people.
So
They
you're
say,
telling
we'll
me
pay you $20 to grade these Istep tests. And they come in there and they sit down, and the first thing they do is go, ooh, look how long this one is. It must be good. Or they'll go, ooh, look how short this one is. It's not very good. Even though length has no connection to it, that is their first thought. We know this because I've been doing this long enough. I have kids who are really smart, write really good short things, and don't get as many points as the kids who just babble and fill the whole thing. So the more you can fill, the better. As you're going through it, and you get down, and you're writing, and you're like, oh, I'm down to there. If you can find a way, if you're down to here, if you can find a way to write that last little bit, write that last little bit and fill it in there. Floral?
So like, let's say you're writing it and it comes up short. So can you just like write random stuff?
I would not write random stuff.
No, like if you like finished like your writing and like it didn't fill up. 'Cause
Well,
it said, like, the
one,
people
you
just,
should
like,
not have gotten to your conclusion yet because you'll be able to see how far you have. So then add in more examples. So as you're going in there and you're doing your writing, if you use, I did 3 examples, yay, I still have a lot of room left. I did 4 examples, still need more room. Now I've done 5 examples, all right, now I'm getting close. That's why don't get to your conclusion and then just write down, I like puppies. That's not going to come back and help you out. Keep writing about it, just write as much as you can into it. What kind of writing should you do? Well, as it says on there, an introduction, a body, and a conclusion for your essay. So what you're going to have is
Introduction.
an introduction. What is the body?
It's the beginning. Wait, no, it's the whole gist of the thing.
Nicely done. And then make sure you have a conclusion at the end. Those are the things they're going to be looking for. And then, out of curiosity, what do you guys think Istep graders look for when they do this?
Punctuation and grammar.
They do look for punctuation and grammar, more than they probably should, being as that kids spend all their time texting and getting autocorrected into weird things that go to your parents, but punctuation and grammar is important, and that is stuff they look for. Jacob?
I was going to say that too, but something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to say that if we, because I just like, is like related to, like, yeah, you just said we should not be texting our parents, like, with the autocorrect stuff.
Mm-hmm. Strong bad?
Fragments and run-ons.
Not bad. Fragments and run-ons. How smart are your Istep graders?
Not smart. Very.
Remember that when you're writing this. One of the biggest things that they'll tell the Istep graders that will help them out is they'll say, look in their writing for any time they pull stuff from the article. The more times you pull stuff straight from the article, the more it's going to help your grade on there. Because that makes it easy on the Istep graders. On their little grading sheet, that's what it tells them to look for. Why? Because they don't know what they're doing. So what they look for is, do you have an introduction? And they have a little checklist. Introduction. Check. They'll say, do you have a conclusion? Check. Then it says, did they use examples from story? And they go through there and just make little checks all through your thing. That's what they're looking for you to do. Go back, make those connections, and fill it in. Morgan.
So we can basically just copy down sentences, or no?
As long as you also...
Reword it?
Correct.
Okay.
And you're going to make sure you make those references to it and explain why they're good, why they're bad, stuff like that.
Also, how is Istep like helping us if like they're just picking random people to like test these? Like, what if they get them wrong? Like, how is this helping us?
Yep.
So it's not helping us. Then why do we take Istep?
Yep.
It's pointless.
Yup! Miss Riddle!
What does support your position mean?
Nice one. You guys know what support your position means? And I pulled that straight from on there. Because that's where it says the evidence from the article that supports your position. So what they want you to do when they say support your position. E&E?
Gotta support your opinion in the whole situation of...
And so if E&E points out and says that I think using robots in the workplace are bad, can he do that?
Yeah.
Will he still do well on this?
Yeah. No.
Raise your hand if you say yes, he can still do well on this if you put that.
Oh wait, no.
Raise your hand if you say nope, that is not what they want. Actually, I think that he'd be all right on that one, as long as he supports it. And if he brings up the idea that people could get hurt as his examples, or the fact that it's going to replace jobs, people have no jobs, as long as he supports it, I think you're fine. So you can pick what, and they'll say this, whatever the thing is they put on the Istep, they're going to tell you support your position. As long as you pick whichever side you want to go with, and you can pull examples to support what you're saying. This, by the way, the same thing I make you guys do in class. Whenever you guys tell me something, I go, how do you know? And you go, because it said it in the story. And I go, show me where. And you go back and show me. That's the same thing. I just want you to pull it from the story and put it into it. Yes, dear.
Would we get a better chance of getting a better grade if we said where we supported our answer, like where we got it from?
If you say like from what paragraph?
Yeah, like if you say from paragraph like 3 or something.
It probably wouldn't hurt. I'm not sure how necessary it would be, but I would not say that would work against you.
Okay.
If you went back, because they have those numbers on there. And once again, how smart are your Istep testers?
Not smart.
So the more you can point out to them, the better. And I know, for a lot of you, and to go back to Morgan's, why is this important? Because the state says so. Why is that important? Because it controls what classes you guys go into. And this is what controls, not only do you go into advanced class, but if you go into the remediation class next year, if you go into a lab class next year, if you don't do well on Istep, the next year you have 2 English classes, because they say that you need to have more help with English. The same thing with math. If you don't do well in the math one, and you're like, whatever, it doesn't affect me, that's where it does. It means next year you take 2 math classes, because we've sort of marked it that you need help in those areas. Yes, dear?
Why would we take a full class out of our time if we could be using that for something else? Like,
Because you feel that.
but like,
Because if you
what-
fail Istep, they give
but
you a
that's
second English
lot of
class.
time. Like,
Yeah,
why can't they just take a best period,
They
like
don't.
every day?
they do that also.
So here's your chance.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That's we have kids this year who have 2 English classes, and their best is also spent doing it.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, that's why we're trying to help you do well, and that's why I'm doing this practice now to show you what to do to make them happy tomorrow when you guys take the test.
Okay.
Ian?
It's kind of unfair that people that are not qualified to grade things are gauging your ability on if you can do something.
We call that life.
Oh,
And you're just gonna, it is how it's gonna work, and you're just gonna have to get used to the fact of unqualified people who are in control of your world. And that is just the way it is. And the problem is, there's just not enough people out there to grade it.
Are you?
And they just go out there and they offer the money, and it's how it's set up. Now, they try to train them by taking a morning and saying, here's what you're going to do, here's the things to look for, but it's not like you have professional teachers doing it. It's just not the way it works out. Thankful?
Does Istep also like grade the teachers like on how well
Yeah.
they teached it?
When you guys don't do well on it, it looks bad on me too.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
So when you guys like blow it off, it comes back. Yeah, you have teachers who get fired for it because their teachers blow it off.
Is that how they're like, oh, Hamilton County has a good schooling system, and then like another place like doesn't? Is that because of ISTEP?
A lot of times, actually, it's almost all connected to Istep.
Wait, then what's NWEA for?
Just another test to get you ready for Istep.
I thought they were getting rid of Istep though.
No, they're renaming it.
Park.
When they say getting rid of it, they're just getting you a different test with a different name. They can say, we got rid of Istep, but this test looks the exact same. But it has a new name.
Oh,
And,
jeez.
yeah, it's just like when your parents say, you're not grounded this weekend. You just can't go out anywhere and you can't see anyone or use electronics.
But
You're like, but that's the same. But we didn't call it grounded. It's the same thing.
yeah, but you didn't take it when you were younger. Why do we have to take
I did.
it?
I took Istep when I was a
You
kid.
did?
Yeah, it started when I was younger. I know, Dinosaur gave it
Are
to
you
me.
lying to me?
No, I remember taking it when I was in 7th grade. That's when they started. It was right around the early 90s.
Oh,
Yeah, go me. Life's
I don't
exciting.
think my mom took it.
Yes, dear.
My mom didn't.
Well, if they choose unqualified people to grade it, why don't they just grade it themselves?
Who's
Yeah, seriously.
The people who make
they?
it.
Because there's
Yeah.
4 people who made it. They cannot grade.
Well, I mean, if
20,000
they made it,
tests.
they got to take responsibility.
I think
like,
so.
we take this
Or
test and grade it.
they hire somebody else and then just blame. Blame works
Oh,
wonderfully.
sorry. Lazy.
Any.
Are they calling it park?
That's one of the different ones they're looking at. They haven't quite decided which way they want to go with it.
That sounds like fun.
So, once again, my takeaway I want you guys to do for this, when it comes to you taking the tests tomorrow and on Wednesday, read the question. If you don't understand it, reword it so that you do understand it. Make sure you fill up all of the area, and then make sure you support your answers. Take off. See you later.